Because we found that there are a lot of jobs available, but there's nobody qualified for these jobs. So what we've done, we have something called TVET, Technical Vocational Educational Training, which prepares you for the world of work. We've set up 4 TVET schools, fully equipped. Go and see it for yourself. Not I telling you, go and see it for yourself. 4 schools, 4 TVET schools, properly equipped to teach people to learn vocations. So when you go in there, learn agriculture, you learn construction, you learn these tools, getting you ready for the world of work. So in education, we are mixing it. Early childhood, help you there. Primary, helping you there. Secondary school, every child in the secondary school system in St. Lucia has a laptop. Go and check it for yourself. Every child, listen to what I said carefully, in the secondary school system. I didn't say every child in every school. Every child in the secondary school system has a laptop. Now, you may hear through breaking news that the children have nothing on these laptops. Let me tell you something about laptops versus something that used to happen before called ebooks. Every ebook in the country, we had to pay $100 per ebook to get material into these ebooks. And if you speak to anybody who has used these ebooks, they tell you they were never in use. When we came into government, there was a whole room full of ebooks. They were on the verge of putting them in a truck, in the back of a van, to send it to Deglo. Okay? Deglo is where they throw rubbish, garbage. The minister stopped it. He said, leave it there. These ebooks were non-functional. What we've done, through local St. Lucians, education and IT solutions, people, St. Lucians, our local people, they have prepared material for 6 subjects to be uploaded in these computers that the children in the secondary schools have. So these computers, as we speak, have 6 subjects which the children can use at school. And by January, there are going to be 10 of them. So what's happening is that using St. Lucian talent, and again, I want you to check it. We can use these computers given by the government free of charge, so these students can use the computers to educate themselves in what we call smart classrooms. We are developing the smart classrooms where the children can interact using computers and using the technology, something called smart classrooms. We've distributed 13,790 computers to the children of St. Lucia. 13,790 computers. And the school population is more. I think that 26,000 students, we want to get there. We haven't got there yet. We've given 13,790 of these computers. I've spoken to you about the youth economy. But still, having done that, we are also improving and giving out more in the social field to the less fortunate. People who are less fortunate, through the St. Louis Social Development Fund, we are helping them. We've increased the people on government grants by 1,000. SSDF gives educational support. This year, we put $2.5 million in educational grants in September for the September school year opening. We assist people in their housing. We give building materials to people to help improve their housing. But we cannot give it to everybody. Some people tell you that they didn't get. Never, nobody, no government in the world has ever given assistance to everybody. We try to do for the people who need it the most. So we have expanded our social infrastructure by assisting the less privileged for education, through housing, through employment. We are assisting the less privileged. In developing the total individual, we are doing a lot in sports and youth development. I've told you about the youth economy. I've dealt with the youth economy. Now let's speak about sports development. We hosted the World Cup. St. Lucia got credence for being the country with the best facilities in the region for the World Cup. But not only the Darren Sammy grounds that we are working on. And again, I want you to check it. I've been saying that to you all the time to go check it for yourself because I know you're hearing a lot of things. Thank you. What is happening is that we renovated the Darren Sammy grounds. We renovated the Mindu Philip Park, that all of you know. We renovated it. We now, right now, we are renovating the Marshall grounds. We are changing the stands, the roof on the stands. But in there, we are putting, which I know you'll be very happy to hear, we are putting a pan shed for the Diamond Steel Orchestra. Diamond Steel is an orchestra all of you know. It had become extinct. As we speak right now, we are building a pan shed in the Marshall grounds for the Diamond Steel Orchestra. We improved the Grosile field as we speak. We are improving the fields in Miku North. And several playing fields in the country are going to be improved. But why is we doing that? We have a semi-professional football league where every constituency has a football side that the government pays them to play football. So when you talk about youth development, we pay them to play football. But they must have certain criteria. They must be disciplined. They must attend coaching. They must follow certain rules. And we said to them, if whilst they're playing football, they do their CXCs and we'll give them an extra bonus. So we are paying young men to play football to help in that youth development process. We are paying them to play football. So we have this semi-professional football league. St. Lucia has done exceptional in sports for this year. Just like education, the maths pass rate in the region for mathematics is about 35%. St. Lucia is above that. St. Lucia is about 40% in passes for mathematics. But we're not satisfied. We are starting a STEM program in the schools to improve children's capabilities in maths and science. And we have allocated in the budget an extra $250,000 for specialist maths teachers. Because we found the problem in mathematics is that teachers sometimes have problems like the children. And talking about teachers, that is true. I'm sure. Some of us inside here, signed from me. When my daughter was doing what they call new maths, I didn't know what to do. I'm sure you don't know new maths. I had to go back and look for my daughter's books and try and learn new maths. Some of it I didn't even know. Up to now, I don't know some of it, new maths. So we had to get these teachers. So we have specialist maths teachers to help the children in maths and help them through us to see if we can improve the science and technology to help them in mathematics. These are the things that we are doing to help them in mathematics, etc. So we want to develop a total human being, a human being that is growing mentally and also physically. But to do that, he must have adequate health care. And let no one fool you. Health care in St. Lucia always needed improvement. I'll make the point again. Health care in St. Lucia always needed improvement. There has never been a time in the history of St. Lucia when we were always satisfied with health care. Never. Never been a time. Healthcare in the entire world, in the great United States, Obamacare took years, and right now they are reversing many aspects of Obamacare in the great United States, the capital of the world. In England, the National Health Service under tremendous pressure. You had doctors striking. You had people who have waited years online to get treatment in the National Health Service in England. In Canada, you have issues with health. How can you have a little country of 238 square miles with 172,000 people, their health will be perfect? And I'm making a point. I'll agree that our health care needs improvement. But here's what happened. Again, that's a fact. We negotiated with the Europeans to build the OKEU hospital. We did that. The OKEU hospital was built and it was there. We formed a transition team of local doctors, local technicians, being helped by the French government to transition from Victoria Hospital to the OKEU hospital. We formed that team. That team was formed in 2015, 2016. In 2016, the people of St. Lucia decided that they would have a change of government, and we agreed. We are Democrats. We believe in democracy. When the people make up their mind, we yield to the will of the people. We do not destroy our country because we lost elections. We yield to the will of the people. So, the transition team was formed, doing this work, but in 2017, they dissolved the transition team. They dissolved it. Check the facts. Led by Stephen King was in the transition team. It was fired. They fired it. Going to some organization called Cayman City. Cayman City started. COVID came. I cannot tell you what will be the results of Cayman City. I'm not a guardian. What I can tell you is I had to pay Cayman City about $12 million. That's what I can tell you. I can't tell you if it has been good or if it was bad. That's what I know. Yes, US. And that was because we were advised that we should move away from Cayman City at this time. That's what I was told. Okay? There's no room downstairs? No, there's no room downstairs. All right. Okay. So we moved away from Cayman City, and then so that hospital was transitioned because of COVID. There was COVID, and there was a hurried movement to OKU. So OKEU never had time to have a proper transition from Victoria Hospital to OKEU. Victoria Hospital, there was a boss. The hospital, the matron, you remember that? Matrons. Then that was the boss. Matron do what you want, send who they want home, do what they want. Then there was a boss, chief medical officer, who was the boss of the hospital. We had to transition that to a statutory board. A statutory board to run the OKU hospital through an act of parliament. So the transition from being the boss to a board was difficult. It still is difficult. The transition is not easy to change. Not easy to change. Both in our personal lives, in our private and our public life, it's not easy to change. So what will happen is that OKEU had a lot of the old habits of Victoria Hospital. But to make it worse, OKEU, when we took it in 2021, it had about $10 million of debt. That's what it had. That's what it had. And again, check it. What we had to do. The allocation, and our government has given more allocation to health than any other government. The allocations to health from our government has been the most, but it is not enough. And I told you a while ago, the health and security levy that he's speaking about this year, it will bring $32 million, and our health expenses are in excess of $240 million. So what we did, when there were issues, the issues in health at OKU, they rose. And the doctors and the nurses, the doctors began to complain. The issues in health got bad. The doctors began to complain, and they wrote me a letter saying that things are bad, nurses are going. Now, it's you all taking all my nurses in the state children, but it doesn't matter. Things are bad. In fact, we are organizing a nurse retention program to see and keep our nurses at home. So we decided, listen to me, I went and I spoke to them. But I speak to everybody. I don't tell people, I'm the prime minister, why do this right? I did this and I did that. No. I speak to people. So we called in the doctors and the people who run the hospital and said, let us sit together and deal with our problems. Here's what we did. They said to us, there are shortages of medicine because the people that give them medicine, they owe them and they cannot pay them. And it's a business, so they need to have their money. What we did, we went to the CIP that I'll talk to you about in a while. Because you must have heard that they'll arrest me, right? You heard that? Breaking news. I'll tell you about it in a while. So you heard, so that we put $11 million from the CIP into the OKU hospital to pay these suppliers. Now, the health services in St. Lucia, they owe, and these are things you must know, they owe in excess of $40 million to suppliers of healthcare. In excess. So that means they owe Martinique. People in St. Lucia go to healthcare in Martinique. We owe the Martinique government $2.2 million. We owe providers of healthcare in the country, the people who help with dialysis. Because, you mightn't know that, but health in St. Lucia is almost free. Almost free. Few people in St. Lucia pay for dialysis. That's a fact. Health, when these discussions take place and these emotional things are said that they sound good, you must sit back, relax, and look at the facts. Look at the cost of healthcare in the great United States and the cost of healthcare in St. Lucia. The cost. Healthcare in St. Lucia is almost free. Almost free. So we owe these people that gave healthcare to St. Lucians over $44 million. So we're in the process of doing an audit to see if all the figures are correct, and they will find a way to do that. So the allocation that I give, and I want you to pay special attention to the work of the Minister of Health. Because the Ministry of Health is a rather difficult ministry. Depuis Ministry of Health. Anything. The Ministry of Health is everybody have a bellyache, Ministry of Health. So the Ministry of Health is a very difficult, all over the world, Obamacare, all over the world. So what we did is that we are auditing now what happens in the Ministry of Health in terms of expenses. We'll try a way to solve it. So when the Ministry of Health gets its allocation, they can use the allocation not to pay debt that we inherited, but to see about current things and improving healthcare. So I tell you, I promise you, that the same way we've injected the $10 million into OKU, I promise you that very soon we're going to have a big announcement about investment in health in the country to help the people of the country. But while you're doing that, what I know you want to hear about is St. Jude Hospital. And I want, it's coming, yes. And I want to invite you to listen to the progress on St. Jude Hospital. Do you know that in the new plans for St. Jude, the 6 buildings that were built and 2 of them were destroyed? Now, check it. There were 6 buildings, 6 new buildings built, and 2 of them were destroyed, demolished. Now, these buildings had to be integrated in the original St. Jude. I just think people have checked that out. The original St. Jude had to be used because the buildings that were used, what we call the box, these were not enough for the hospital. So it was the box plus the original buildings. And that has not sunk into the psyche of people when they're speaking about state-of-the-art hospital. The new buildings had to be integrated with the original buildings. So what did we do? We said, very good. When you go into government, we said, listen to me, we're not going to abandon the buildings. We're going to integrate, we're going to build buildings and use what we need in the box. So we used what we need in the box and we integrated it with the original structure. So we used 4 buildings and the original structure and left the rest. We did not leave the rest to be abandoned. When we came into government, the original buildings, there was grass, there was goats, there were sheep, there were cows, there were all bats, all kinds of things in the original buildings.